So tuko sawa. Welcome. I hope uko comfortable saizi.
Haya,
Uko
sawa,
sawa?
niko
Okay,
fiti.
so I'll end the TikTok live so that we can. So you guys on TikTok, let's go on YouTube. We are live. Let me end. So, what are we talking about today? The topic is about scholarship. I have just generalized it because I don't know exactly what you're going to be talking.
Yeah, so today we are going to be talking about scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly we are going to be talking about scholarships abroad. I'm sure most of you are excited to move overseas. This one is going to be an awesome opportunity for you guys to actually have a feel uh, on what is needed in terms of scholarships.
Okay.
And I'm sure most of you here would love to move abroad or overseas for studies because that is one of the major pathways in terms of moving abroad. And
Mm-hmm.
today I'm excited to be here with you so that I can actually talk about this awesome topic that I'm actually excited and passionate about to talk about education and especially scholarships abroad. So, welcome. As you all know,
Okay.
for those ones who don't know me, my name is Official Positive Vibes on TikTok. If you've not followed me, please do. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome guys and try to share this live to as many people as you can so that we can have official positive giving us insight on how we can apply for this scholarship or on how we can get them. Okay, so I'll give you a chance. For me, I don't know much about scholarship, so the space is yours. Use it as much as you can.
Okay,
Hi,
thank you
because
very much.
or maybe we can give ourselves like 2 minutes as we wait for people to join in. You guys who are
Yeah.
watching, you can try to share the live, and then we see how it will go.
So, in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure most of you know that when we are talking abroad, we have so many countries that we cannot even exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm going to start by dividing them in terms of the continents. So, when we
I'll
talk about North America, we
Mm-hmm.
have scholarships in Canada, which I'm
Okay.
sure is one of the most loved countries by most of our viewers here. And we
Okay.
also have USA, and we have South America, where we have scholarships, for example, in Argentina and other countries like Colombia. For the African continent, of which I'm sure most of us maybe are not so much concerned about, you have scholarships, for example, in countries like Zambia, and there are quite many. Like, for example, you have like Copper Belt University, which is in Zambia,
Okay.
but everybody right here is interested in scholarships, especially in Europe and the Americas, because those are the two most sought out continents right now for students, especially from Kenya and in Africa. Okay. And we also have scholarships, for example, in Asia. We have scholarships from Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore. Okay. And
Okay.
we have scholarships in Australia and New Zealand. But since we cannot exhaust all these countries or all these scholarship opportunities uh,
Okay.
in one night or in this special session, I'm just going to give a brief overview of maybe the countries and maybe the scholarships that anybody, for example, depending. Okay, I've actually categorized them specifically in terms of the countries. Okay, I've also
Okay.
categorized the scholarship based on, for example, there are the different career paths, for example, or careers that somebody can actually apply. For example, let's say, for example, you want to do nursing. There are specific universities that actually offer full scholarships, okay? And there is also the classification where you can actually talk about, for example, vocational trainings. These ones are basically for people who are actually, for example, if you've done just the O-level certificate, in Kenya, it's known as the KCSE. We also have scholarships for people who have actually just done, for example, the KCSE or the O-level certificate. And we also have scholarships for people who maybe want to do the undergrad, okay, the undergrad. We also have master's scholarship, and we also have the PhD scholarships. And we also have a special category of scholarships where you can actually just visit a university to do your research. Okay. We also
so
have
let
that
me ask
special
you.
category. Yes.
You had talked about Vermeer. How did it go? Do you have some students who applied and they got the scholarship, or they're in the process? How did it go?
Thank you very much for the question. So this is one of the best vocational colleges anybody can actually apply. Okay. Vermeer Vocational College is in Finland. That is the first point. Vermeer Vocational College offers specifically two courses, okay? Two basically different courses. For example, you have the hospitality course, which is the first course, and then we have the mechanical fitters course. In the hospitality course, there are two brief categories in that. We have the cooks program and the waiter or waitress program. And I'm happy to actually tell you guys that some of the people who I actually assisted in terms of the apply, they've actually been called for an interview. So basically, so many people actually applied in every scholarship. So many people actually applied, but the ones who actually assisted them are actually in the next process, where they're actually doing interviews with the Vermeer College. So I'm actually very happy to actually share with you guys that getting a scholarship, in as much as it is a daunting task, there is always hope at the end of the tunnel whenever you actually take into consideration, for example, the requirements of a scholarship, and you actually try and meet all the requirements that are needed for you to apply for a certain scholarship. So I'm elated and very happy to actually tell you guys that some of the students, actually most of them, were actually called for the second part of the interview, in which this is the last stage. If they're actually going to be successful, I'm going to come back and tell you guys. So I'm actually very happy. And yeah, we're actually just going to talk about scholarships today. So thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess there's someone who is asking, are they full? I guess he's asking, are they full scholarship, like fully funded scholarship, fully
Yes.
sponsored? They are?
So basically, there is a certain myth that people don't actually understand. Basically, in as much as people want to be told that a scholarship is fully funded, it is important for you, first of all, to actually go at the, for example, visit the website of the university or the vocational college. Go read everything that is about that scholarship. Okay. And whenever we talk about fully funded, most people think that even the living expenses are catered. Okay. Okay. Sometimes we normally confuse fully funded scholarship with the living expenses. Kindly note that some scholarships actually offer, when they talk about the scholarship, sometimes the scholarship might be partial, and it might be fully funded. Remember, it is good for you to understand those two terms. They're actually very different. But for the Vermeer College, remember that you do not pay anything. Even the application process was waived. Most universities, for example, the Ivy League universities, actually charge an application process. The Vermeer College is an awesome vocational college where there was no application fee, for example, for those who actually applied. And there was nothing in terms of, there was no, for example, discrimination in quotes of international students. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Did the application close?
Yes. So unfortunately, as I had actually told a few of the people who actually wanted to apply,
Okay.
remember, for every scholarship, it is important for you to note that in as much as you are applying for the scholarship, remember that some of the vocational colleges or universities normally have a certain number of applications that they can actually receive. Okay? So whenever
Okay.
they receive a certain amount of applications, they can actually close the deadline, or they can actually just decide not to actually extend the application period. So unfortunately for those people who did not apply during the first few days, for example, the first 5 days, the application was closed on the 5th of August and not the 14th of August. That one is a clear indication that they actually received the maximum threshold of the number of applicants that were actually wanted. Okay?
Okay.
Unfortunately,
So
guys, remember, deadlines can actually be one of the reasons as to why you're not able to apply for a scholarship. Remember, if you're told a scholarship is only open, for example, for like 10 days, try your level best to apply during the first 2 or 3 days of the application process, because you actually don't know if the application process is actually going to be closed abruptly. Okay?
okay, there's a question here. MT
Yes.
Photography is asking, how do I get a scholarship for further study in graphic design? So even before you answer that, I guess we are supposed to get into this topic. You can take us through some of the universities that are offering those scholarship. I don't know which part of the continent you're going to start with, but you can dive in. You can start anywhere.
Yeah.
Rachel is saying hello. Winnie, hi. So I guess you can start.
Yeah. So for me, I love starting with the basics first. Before
Mhm,
we delve into before we actually get to the elephant in the room, I love taking care of the nitty gritties. So
mhm.
what what are the most important things to consider, for example, when you're applying for a scholarship? Remember, every university or every institution or every higher learning institution have different requirements for specific scholarships and for specific courses. Okay, that is the first point. I hope everybody is listening to me and they are actually jotting down something. Okay,
Yeah.
remember, every scholarship is different. Okay, because there are different reasons as to why the scholarship is being offered. Okay,
Okay.
then it is important to note that for every scholarship that mostly these are the documents that are required for you to actually apply for almost every scholarship. Okay, so number one, there's something known as a personal statement. A personal statement is also a statement of purpose. Okay, is also known as a statement of purpose. So a statement of purpose basically introduces you, okay, has a brief introduction, contains your bio, your educational qualifications, your achievements, okay, and also it contains your interests. I hope when we are talking about interest, everybody knows that this is a professional document, that you don't go uh, to write funny kinds of interest. I have to use the word funny, like weird kind of interest. They have to be related, for example, to the course that you're applying, and it has to be related, for example, to the university. You have, first of all, to go read, for example, a scholarship. Okay. If you're applying, for example, a scholarship, for example, like the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, you have to visit, for example, a specific university and note down, for example, the course that you want to undertake. Let's say, for example, you want to do water and hydrology, or masters in hydrology, something. You have to talk about your interest in terms of hydrology, not interest in terms of the CV itself, okay? Not there is a difference between an academic CV and a job application CV, okay? Moving on swiftly. So most universities will also require a recommendation letter, okay? So what is a recommendation letter? A recommendation letter is basically a document from somebody who knows you quite well. Somebody who can actually be called even at the middle of the night and can actually tell us, for example, who is Miss Duo, for example. He or she can actually tell us, Miss Duo is so and so. Competencies in terms of Miss Duo. Miss Duo is competent, for example, in drafting lesson plans and all those kinds of things that are specifically related to the scholarship. Okay? So they're just there to vouch for you, but they're supposed also to be people who can actually verify the information. Okay? And basically, some universities normally ask for recommendation letters from, maybe they might ask you two from your academic background, maybe your professors in the university when you're doing your undergrad or your master's, and maybe one from your boss. Okay? So most people who actually apply for scholarships normally, some of them actually use their parents. I would not actually recommend you getting a recommendation letter from your parents, because your parent will not be able to actually talk about your academic history. Okay? Then we have something which is known as a motivational letter. Okay? So a motivational letter is an academic document that defines the student interest. For example, your interest if you're applying for the scholarship, in terms of the course that you are applying, the degree program, and also the university or scholarship specifically, how it's actually going to benefit you and how it's actually going to impact the community or where you come from. Okay? So, for example, in your motivational letter, you have to talk about why are you interested in studying that course. Okay? So it's important for you to actually talk about why you're actually interested in studying a particular course. You have to convince the panel, okay, the scholarship panel, that you are among the top candidates who can actually be considered for the scholarship. Okay?
I have a
Last
question
but not
because I
least,
don't see anyone asking. Let me
yes,
ask you. So, for example, if I don't know how to write a motivational letter, can I ask someone else to write it for me?
yes. So this is the trickiest part.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're applying for scholarship, if you are not actually able to actually meet all the demands of a scholarship, it is important for you to look for an expert. Okay?
Okay.
When you look for an expert, for example, the expert is actually going to be able to actually take you through all the requirements, and he or she can actually assist you with that. Okay? For me, for example, I have been doing scholarships and also assisting people get a scholarship. And I can actually also tell you that this is also a platform where you can actually contact me so that I can actually assist you in terms of your application process. Remember, all these documents have to be of the highest quality. Remember, when you're applying for a scholarship, you are applying in millions. So it's actually very competitive. I actually think scholarships and jobs are very competitive, and you have to put your best foot forward. Okay? In as much as it is competitive, you have to apply for so many scholarships so that at the end of the application period, you can actually even have, you can have the spoil, you can actually have the laxity of actually choosing the best scholarship that actually fits your specific interest. Okay? Yeah. So last but not least, we have some universities, for example, in the US, they actually require you to have done the GMAT, okay, Graduate
What is
Management
GMAT?
Assessment Test, okay. I've actually answered your question, but I'm actually going to So it is the graduate management admission test. Okay. So
Okay.
it tests your English competency, your analytical skills. It tests so many things. Okay. How you actually analytical, your writing skills, your quantitative skills, your verbal skills, and reading skills. Okay. All those things are tested in the GMAT exam. And it is important to note that if you get a specialist who actually a specialist who can actually assist you, some universities actually waiver the GMAT and the IELTS exam. Okay, that's the beauty about uh, having somebody who can actually assist you in terms of that. Remember, not all universities have the same qualifications. Different universities require different qualifications depending on a certain course. For example, you might find that a course, for example, there is a course, for example, maybe somebody wants to do a course in hospitality. They might require, for example, the GPA might be, they might require a GPA of maybe 2.7. But for example, if you're doing a course either in engineering, they might require a higher GPA, and they might also require you to have the GMAT and the IELTS proficiency test scores. Okay, but it
Okay,
depends.
so
So we say
official,
yes, yes.
time is running, so we have to go really quick. I guess you
Okay.
have to jump into the universities and where they are located.
So I have divided them quite interestingly. So we have universities and colleges that accept low CGPA. Okay, there's something known as CGPA where you calculate it depending on the university. I can't explain that much. So we are going to start with the Americas. So we have the California State University that is in Los Angeles. Okay, California State University. Okay. Then we have Delaware State University, Winona State University, Upper Iowa University, University of Arkansas at Little Rock, okay, Southern Illinois University, we have Bridgewater State University, Norfolk University, we have Colorado Christian University. The beauty about some of these universities is that they actually offer full scholarships and the application is normally waived. Okay. So there are so many. I wish I can actually share some of the university. We have Bradley College, for example, which all of them are in the US. We have Cleveland University in Kansas City. We have Berkeley College. We have Westfield State University. We have Hastings College. We have Longwood University. All these universities are in the US. Okay. I'm sure most of us here would actually love to actually study in the US. They are not Ivy League universities, but they actually accept students with low CGPA. So what do I mean by low CGPA? Maybe you got, when you calculate your CGPA, maybe you have a 2.5. It's basically 2.5 to 3.0 CGPA, okay? Then I'm going to the next category where I'll actually talk about universities in USA that actually waiver GMAT and GRE applications. Like they normally waiver off all those for example, qualifications in GMAT and GRE. So we have the Florida State University. It's known as FSU, Florida State University. We have the Illinois State University. We have the Ball State University. Okay. And then we have the East Tennessee State University. This university is actually one of the best universities that you can actually apply for. For example, they have a course, for example, in Masters in History, Masters in Chemistry, Masters in Clinical Nutrition, Masters in Computer Science, Masters in Social Work, okay? All these courses, you can actually apply for them without having done the GMAT. Okay.
What about graphic design? Because there's someone who asked about graphic design. Is it
So,
included there?
okay, let me just confirm. Maybe I can actually just confirm graphic design. Okay, this is also something that I can actually love to share with you guys. Remember, some of the courses are actually interrelated. Okay, you might find that graphic design is related to a course maybe in maybe for a course maybe in computer science. Okay, so you'd actually be able, necessarily you don't have to have or apply for a course that says masters in graphic design. Okay, you can apply for a different course but that is related to your line of work. Okay,
Okay.
so there is also Truman State University that does not even charge any application fee. I hope someday we are going
Sorry?
to come here. Truman State University.
Okay,
Truman.
so there's someone who is asking me to attach the university name. Yes, I'll do that. I'll put them in
Yes,
the description.
yes. Then we have top university scholarships for international students. Now we've moved from the Americas, now we are in Europe. Okay. So we have the
Before we move to
British,
Europe,
yes,
Caro Kiget is asking, do we also have those community colleges offering scholarship? Is
yes.
Vermeer
So,
Community College?
yes, yes. No, okay.
Yes, because
Vermeer,
we
you're
had
talking about
Vermeer.
Vermeer.
I don't know if you got to hear about it, Caro. And so many people applied for it because we were talking about it on TikTok.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue.
So these ones are the top European scholarships for international students. We have the British Chevening Scholarship, which is in the UK. I'm sure most of you actually know that right now people are actually applying for the British Chevening Scholarship. Okay. Then we have the DAAD or the DAD Scholarship with relevance to developing countries. The DAD Scholarship is in Germany. Okay. Then we have Holland scholarships. Okay. Basically, when somebody is talking about Holland scholarships, remember these scholarships are normally sponsored by the Holland or the Dutch government. Okay. So you can actually get the scholarships in the Dutch website. We have the Swedish Institute Scholarship for Global Professionals, which is in Sweden. Okay. We have the VLIR UOS Scholarship Award. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't be able to actually pronounce it in terms of how people can actually understand the scholarship. We have the Eiffel Excellent Scholarship Program. This one is in Paris, France. Okay. We have the Swiss Government Excellence Scholarship for foreign students. This one is in Switzerland. Okay. Then we have the Danish Government Scholarship for non-European Union students. Okay. This one is in Denmark. Okay. Danish government. This one is basically from Denmark. We have the Italian bursaries for foreign students. So this one is mainly sponsored by the Italian government. Okay. And in another classification, we normally have scholarships that are merit based. So when I'm talking about scholarships that are merit based, it means that you have to have a very good CGPA, and then you have to have excellence in terms of maybe athletics or maybe research. Okay, these ones are basically for the merit-based scholarships. Okay,
I
we
have
have
a
the get
question, official.
yes,
So
yes,
let me ask you, for example, maybe I did not get good grades in high school. That is around maybe C. It's
yes.
not average, right? Can I get a scholarship? Do I have a chance of getting scholarship
So the
with
beauty is,
average grade from high school?
yes, yes. So the beauty is,
Hmm.
uh, in my own capacity, I can actually tell you that there are various universities or vocational colleges that actually just focus maybe in, they do not normally focus on how merit, or they do not focus on the merit-based scholarships. They actually offer scholarships depending on, for example, I'll give a very good example of the Vermeer scholarship. And the Vermeer scholarship, for example, did not focus, for example, on the grade, but mostly on what you present. Remember, you can actually have very good grades, but you're not able to actually convince the panel of scholarship, the scholarship panel team, that you are actually the best student or the best applicant to actually receive the scholarship. Remember, there are so many things that are looked at when you are applying for a scholarship. Okay. There are vocational colleges where somebody can actually apply and actually get the scholarship and actually immigrate to Europe. Okay. So, for example, some of the university I was talking about that require somebody with a low CGPA, maybe they have the vocational colleges also. Some of the vocational colleges are also available in that category, and they do not mainly focus in terms of either you're looking for scholarship, either because you have a very good grade. Okay. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank
we
you
have
so
those
much.
merit-based scholarships. We talked about the Gates Cambridge Scholarship, the Rhodes Scholarship, Clarendon Scholarship at the University of Oxford. Remember, when you're talking about the University of Oxford, we are talking about the Ivy League universities. Ivy League universities are the top-notch universities where the best brains or the best students or applicants in the world actually apply. Okay.
And do we need IELTS for such application?
Yes. Remember, each and every university have different qualifications or requirements for a specific scholarship. Okay. For example, there are universities that cannot offer a waiver in terms of the IELTS. So I would actually advise each and every person who is actually here listening to this awesome session, remember IELTS is a very important qualification requirement that is actually needed for you to actually apply for scholarship. Okay.
Another question.
Yes.
There's something that I've noticed when you were talking about the USA or American universities. Mostly you were talking about GMAT. So,
Yes.
do you mean those who are planning to apply for university in Europe need to have IELTS, and maybe in the US need to have GMAT, or both can work in both sides?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. So
Mhm.
it is important to note that IELTS and GMAT are two different exams, and they're
Okay.
examined by two different bodies. Okay. Remember, the GMAT, as I had told you, is specifically for students. Okay, this is something that I had not said, and thank you for reminding me. This one is for the GMAT. Basically, it's for students who actually want to do an MBA program. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So not all universities will require you to have the GMAT test scores, okay? But mostly in the US, they normally require you to have the GMAT. But in Europe, IELTS, in Europe and in US, IELTS is a primary requirement. So remember, in terms of the hierarchy, in terms of what is actually needed for you to actually have is your IELTS score. And if you're actually looking to apply for scholarship, remember you actually have to get, if you actually want to get a good scholarship and in a good university or vocational college, you need to get a band 6.5 in the academic.
In IELTS academic, right?
Yes, IELTS academic, because we have two basically types of IELTS. We have the IELTS general and the IELTS academic. Since you're going to study, you have to do the IELTS academic. The IELTS general basically is for people who want to immigrate for work purposes in countries that speak English as their main language. Okay?
Okay.
Moving on swiftly. So we have the one of my favorite scholarships, and it's in Netherlands. It's the two Delft Excellence Scholarship. Okay, the two Delft Scholarship Excellence Scholarship. Sorry, and then we have the University of Geneva Excellence Masters Fellowship Scholarship. Okay, so there are different kinds of scholarships that you might require. And in Europe, for example, I'll talk about Austria. There are 6 universities, for example, that are actually cheap. These ones actually offer partial scholarships, okay? But they're actually cheaper compared to other universities. We have the University of Vienna, University of Salzburg, okay? University of Linz, okay? And I'm sorry, I'll not actually talk about all of them. I'll just talk about a few of them. And then I'm actually going to take you to a detour back to Europe and talk about Canada, because I'm sure most people here are in love with Canada. So we have the Canadian Embassy scholarships. Okay, these scholarships are available to Canadians and also international students. For example, we have the Vermeer Canada Graduate Scholarship. Okay, we have the Bunting Postdoctoral Fellowship, which is available for both Canadians and international students. Okay, we have the Lester B. Pearson International Scholarship Program, which is available at the University of Toronto. Okay, they normally say Toronto anyway. Karen McLean
How is it supposed to be pronounced?
Toronto, like
Toronto.
the T, yeah, the the T is silent. Okay,
Ah, the
we
T
have
is
the
style.
yes,
Sorry, you said the T is silent?
yeah, not the first, the second one. Moving on swiftly. We have the
Okay.
Donald Werrang International Student Award, University of Calgary, okay? University of Calgary International Entrance Scholarship. Remember, this one is an entrance scholarship where if you're actually joining Calgary University, this one is a scholarship that you can actually apply for. Okay? University of Alberta, and one of my favorite universities, the University of Winnipeg. Okay? Yeah, which is part of the University of Manitoba scholarships in Canada. Okay. Another important scholarship that I have to talk about and I will talk about is the McCall McBain Scholarship. This one you have to apply in 2023 because some of these scholarships are actually closed at the moment. Remember, we're opening a new session, a new application period. We actually have applications maybe in fall, if I'm not wrong, fall applications that actually start September and October. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the application process is quite simple. Step 1, you apply for a study permit. Study permit, these are documents that issues you with, it permits you to actually study in a foreign country, for example, in Canada. Okay. This one is actually gotten before you travel to Canada. Number 2 is get the right documentation that are given above. Remember, for every scholarship, they have different documentation that is needed. And then number 3 is to apply. Okay. When you get the scholarship, when you get communication information from maybe the scholarship board or from the university, remember you have to be swift and also prepare adequately so that you can actually pass through the next stage. Remember, some of the scholarships actually have different stages of application. You might find like you have 5 different stages, okay, that you have to pass through. And then I'll actually go to Danish universities that offer international students with scholarships. So we have the IT University of Copenhagen. For example, the person who was actually talking about graphic design, you can actually visit the IT University of Copenhagen. Okay. They actually offer scholarships to international students. Then we
I
have the
hope he's still
Copenhagen.
here.
Yeah, I hope we have, and we also have the Copenhagen Business School. Rockslide University. We have the Technical University of Denmark. We have the Aalborg University. We have the University of Southern Denmark. We have the Aarhus University. So I'll share with you. I hope, guys, you can just listen. If you're jotting down something, you have to forgive me. I'm also rushing because of time. I'll actually share the document and the links with your awesome and beautiful host so that she can actually share with you guys. Okay?
Okay.
There is the Danish Scholarship for International Students. Remember, this is one of the best scholarships that anybody can actually apply for. Okay? And this is actually part of, I can actually connect you with the person who is actually representing Kenya in terms of the Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters Program. Okay? If anybody is interested in that, I can actually hook you up with the person who is actually the lead person who is actually assisting Kenyans in their application. She's actually the representative of the Erasmus Mundus organization in Kenya. Okay, so we also have the Danish government scholarship. Remember, this is also a very important topic that you have also to write down somewhere. You might forget everything, but also remember, different governments normally offer different scholarships. For example, if you visit the Canadian website, you're actually going to find the government actually offers scholarships. Okay.
So how do we know like the scholarship are open for application?
Thank you. So number one, this is also a personal duty that you have to actually visit the website. If you're not capable of actually doing all that work on your own, remember you can actually contact somebody who has actually been doing all these things. For example, you can contact me so that I can actually assist you in knowing, for example, which specific scholarship is suitable for you, depending on your qualifications and also depending on, for example, where your interest and skills are based at. Okay? Remember?
Okay,
Yes?
okay, we have
Sorry.
like 8 minutes.
Okay.
But would you give us some of the some community colleges?
Yes, I was actually going to that. That is my giveaway to you guys. So number one, we have the Vermeer College in Finland. Okay, Vermeer College actually have a course in January where they actually have a mechanical fitters course. If you're actually an engineer like me, you can actually do the course, mechanical fitters course. We have Westworld College in Estonia. Okay, in Estonia. Estonia is a country in Europe. Okay. We have the Valga County Vocational, which is also in Estonia. Okay. So I actually have that special category for everybody who is right here. And you should not just think like scholarships are just for people who actually have degrees, masters, and PhDs. Remember, anybody can apply for a scholarship as long as you meet the qualifications. Remember, Valga County Vocational, which is in Europe. And actually, I talked to the guys in Valga and they told me that unfortunately, they have a course in international program of logistics that is actually closed for this year, but next year, January, you can actually apply for the program. It is a logistics course, okay? You can actually apply for it, and it's actually fully funded, okay? It's a fully funded scholarship in Estonia. Westworld Vocational College is also in Estonia. It actually offers courses in welding, okay? So if you love the mechanical engineering aspect courses, you can actually find it. Vermeer Vocational College, hospitality and mechanical fitters. So those ones are some of the courses that you can actually apply for or the universities that you can actually apply for and get a fully funded scholarship. I also have a special giveaway for, of course, people who have degrees, masters, PhDs. You can actually visit the University of Guelph, okay? Guelph University, Guelph University, okay? Or Guelph depending on your pronunciation. Guelph University. They
Can
have
you spell it for me, please?
okay, G-U-E-L-F,
G-U-E-L-F,
L-P-H, sorry, L-P-H, L-P-H, Guelph University,
mm-hmm.
G-U-E-L-P-H, University of Guelph. So
Okay.
they actually have graduate opportunities for you. If you've ever wanted to do, for example, a course, for example, in geography or geology, this is the best university. When you go to the graduate opportunities, you can actually talk to a professor and they can actually offer you an opportunity to actually do some research in the university. Okay? So for me, I always come with a lot of goodies for everybody. I'm like for the Christmas, okay? We also have universities in Asia, but I'll not talk about them. We have the
So
Taiwan
that's the name of the
higher
university, right?
Guelph, yeah, Guelph, Guelph, the University of Guelph, okay? And you can actually visit their graduate opportunities. That's where you can find all the awesome things I'm talking about. We have the Joint Japan World Bank Scholarship for Developing Countries. These ones are in Asia, okay? Education for Energy Development Scholarship for international students. And then we have the MXT, Japanese Government Undergraduate Scholarship for international students. We have the GIST Scholarship for international students. We have the Chinese Ministry of Education Marine Scholarship for international students. Okay. Then I would also love to talk about countries where you can actually apply for. Okay. Some countries offer free education in terms of the higher learning. We have Norway, Iceland. Okay. Those ones are some of the countries where you can actually apply for courses that are actually free. Okay. Fully funded scholarships. Okay.
Okay.
Remember, there are universities that are public and there are private universities. And without further ado, I'd love to say thank you. The floor is open. I don't want to talk much, but we cannot actually exhaust the topic on scholarships in a short period of time. I can actually talk about so many types of scholarship. I've actually not even gone to
So
Australia.
for the next maybe 2 minutes, anyone who has a question, so you can just write your comment right now, and then we'll try to answer the questions.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Official, for coming. So yesterday we were
Anytime.
supposed to have we were supposed to have this live yesterday, but we had like some technical issue. But I'm
Yeah.
so glad that we were able to do it today. And I'm sure people are going to learn. And I'll also invite you another day so that like we can dig in, especially I think people will be interested in community colleges. So if you can do research, you can do more research on that. It will really help. So those who are watching, if you have any question, you can ask. And because we have some like 2 minutes before we end the
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
So Martin Anyanga, I hope that's the way your name is pronounced. You're saying thank you so much. I wish you can post them. Here we try out. Yeah, I'll link them in the description. I'll get them from Official Positive and link them there. You can always go and try, There's no shame in trying. And these things are okay. Sometimes you might find some of the university will require you to have some application fee. It's worth trying. It's worth paying that application fee and doing it, because you never know when where you're I don't know how to say it, but this might be your pathway to Europe or any other country that you've been planning to go to. For example, right now, the USA tourist visa are closed until 2024. But if you're going there as a student, you can still get a visa before 2024, you know?
Yeah.
So you can use
Awesome.
school to immigrate to the US. That was so educative. Thank you so much. So I don't see any question, but still I'll give you guys like 2 to 3 minutes before we wind up. You can ask any questions. If you don't have any question, you can comment on
Yeah.
how the life was, and if you would love to have what am I doing? And if you if you'd love to have official positive here again. Thank you so much, Pauline. Okay, you're welcome, Sharon. So MD Photography is asking, how much do you pay for the application fee for scholarship, or it varies?
Wow. So uh, he's asking basically about the application fee, right? Remember, this one is just a point to note. Each university have a different application fee.
Be
Okay.
audible a little bit.
Okay. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
each university is actually different from another university. All universities are totally different. So each university has a different application fee. Okay. And the beauty is sometimes when you have the expertise or you're able to actually talk to somebody who can actually assist you in terms of your application, remember some universities can actually waive. You can actually get an application fee waiver. Okay. In as
Wow.
much as you might see that some universities normally charge, for example, $80 in their application fee, $20, $30, $40, you know, you can actually get a waiver in the application fee, okay? And you can actually apply for free. But these things require you to actually know how to actually approach them from a professional point of view, okay?
Yes, again, I guess when it comes to any online application, you have to do it by yourself. You have to go that step ahead and try to apply. Don't apply in only one university. Try to apply it in different universities. So Martin is saying that he's interested in education PhD, while my niece has just cleared undergraduate degree in communication. Will both apply? Yeah, don't hesitate to do that. Don't hesitate, because all those successful stories about people who applied for this scholarship and they got them, they went through the same process that you'll go through. I know. So I guess we can call it a day. I don't see any more questions, and thank you so much for all of you that came and listened. I hope you got something. And you can also share it with your friends or anyone that you think might be interested in this. I'll try so much, maybe tomorrow, or not tomorrow, actually today official. You have to share with to me those universities so that I can link them up in the description box. The video will be still on YouTube, so that's the good thing about YouTube. After the live, you can always come back and rewatch and do whatever you want. So thank you so much, Official, for taking your time to come here and educate us. I really appreciate that, and I hope we'll have another date.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you've learned something. Even if you've not learned much, remember every success story has a beginning, and the beginning is dependent on the things that you actually put in your mind. Okay, so always have positivity in your mindset. Apply, and don't give up. Okay, if I actually showed you guys the number of negative negative sentiments that I have actually received whenever I've applied for scholarship, you wouldn't believe. And I hope maybe someday I'll also come and talk about the scholarships that I've won also. But today wasn't about me. Today was about sharing information with you guys. I hope you've learned a lot. It's been awesome. And I wish you all the best in everything that you're doing.
Okay, so guys, bye bye. See you next
Bye bye.
time.